So I was looking at the actual physical calendar for the 2026 World Cup, Billy, and it's just wild. We're talking about 48 teams now, up from 32, and that means we have this entirely new round, the round of 32. It's an extra knockout match. We're going from the classic 7-game tournament to a brutal 8-game gauntlet. It doesn't sound like much on paper, just one more game, right? But the physical and mental toll of that extra 90 minutes, or heaven forbid 120 minutes plus penalties, is just massive.
Simon, don't be fooled by just one little number on a page. One game is everything. It's like when you're driving the school bus and the dispatcher radios in at the last minute to say, "Oh, Billy, just one more quick drop-off down by the old mill," and you've already been driving for 6 hours, the kids are throwing half-eaten apples at each other, and that one quick drop-off is down a road full of potholes that'll rattle your teeth out. That extra match, that round of 32, it totally changes the whole landscape. You can't just coast or find your feet in the group stage anymore. Usually the big boys, they'd look at the groups and think, right, we can sort of play our way into fitness, maybe rest a few lads in game 3. Not now, my friend.
Right, because in the old format, you had 16 teams moving on. If you were a heavyweight, you pretty much knew that if you took care of business early, that third group stage game was essentially a friendly. You could play your reserve keeper, rest your star striker who has a tight hamstring. Now, with 32 teams advancing out of the groups, including the 8 best third place teams, the safety net is gone, but the immediate threat is doubled. The moment you step out of the group, you're in a single elimination game against a team that is absolutely desperate. The mental shift is immediate. There's no easy side of a bracket when you add an entire extra tier of elimination.
Aye, exactly. The margin for error is gone, vanished. It's like walking a tightrope, but now someone's gone and greased the last 10 yards of it just for a laugh. You look at teams like Argentina or France. In the past, they could pace themselves, pace the whole journey. Now, you make one slip, one bad clearance, one dodgy refereeing decision in that extra round, and you're booked on a flight home before the tournament's even really caught fire. It's going to be absolute chaos for the managers trying to budget their energy.
And that energy budget is already deeply in the red because of the logistics. This isn't like Qatar, where all the stadiums were practically within sight of each other, or even Germany, where you can take a high-speed train. We're talking about a tournament spread across 3 massive countries: Canada, Mexico and the United States. You could play a game in the high altitude of Mexico City, and then 3 days later you're flying to the damp and cold of Vancouver, and then back down to the heat of Miami. That's a total of 104 games across the whole tournament, Billy. 104.
Dear God, Simon, my back aches just thinking about the frequent flyer miles. It's madness, pure madness. Back when I was a porter for Irish Rail, you'd see folks completely shattered after a 3-hour train ride from Dublin to Cork. Now imagine these lads, elite athletes or not, being crammed into planes, even first class, mind you, flying 4 or 5 hours across different time zones, and then being expected to sprint 10 miles on hybrid pitches that have been laid down over artificial turf just last week. The travel fatigue is going to be the real opponent here. It's not just the team wearing the other shirts, it's the jet lag and the cabin pressure.
The pitches. That is a major point. A lot of these US NFL stadiums use turf, so they're having to lay temporary grass over the top. That turf to grass transition can be so unpredictable. It feels different underfoot, the ball rolls differently, and it is notoriously hard on the knees and ankles. After a 70-game club season in Europe, these players are already running on fumes. Sports science is going to be tested like never before. It won't be about who has the single best player, the superstar who can produce a moment of magic. It's going to be about who has the best squad rotation, the best recovery protocols, the best medical staff, honestly.
Oh, you're spot on, Simon. You can have the greatest player in the world, a Messi, a Mbappe, but if his quadriceps are screaming like a banshee because he's played 80 matches in 10 months and then flown across 3 time zones, well, he's no good to you on the bench with an ice pack strapped to his leg, is he? It's the unsung heroes, the sports therapists with their massage tables and their compression sleeves. They're the ones who are going to win this World Cup. The squad depth it's everything. You're going to need 22 players who can actually start a game without the quality dropping off a cliff. If you're relying on 11 superstars and a bench full of kids who are just happy to be there, you're in proper trouble. And here's the thing that really worries me, Simon. When you increase the risk, when you add another lose and you're out game, you don't get more exciting, high-flying football. No, sir, you get the exact opposite. Managers by nature, they're cautious creatures when their jobs are on the line. They'll look at that extra knockout game and think, right, let's keep it tight, let's not concede. It's going to be the death of gung-ho football, I'm telling you.
I fear you're completely right. It becomes a game of risk mitigation. If you're a manager, the fear of making a mistake that gets you knocked out in the round of 32 is so much higher than the desire to win 4-3. We're likely to see teams set up in deeply defensive, low-block systems. They'll squeeze the space, slow the tempo down and basically try to drag the game into a war of attrition. And the dread of penalties. Oh man. Usually you only start really sweating about penalties in the quarter-finals or semi-finals. Now that psychological horror show starts a whole round earlier.
Oh, the penalties. It's the absolute cruelest way to go out. It's like working hard all year on your garden, tending the roses, cutting the grass, and then deciding who gets the house based on a game of rock, paper, scissors. But when you're tired, when your legs are heavy in that 95th minute, you start thinking, maybe we just play for the shootout, our keeper's decent. So you get these dreadful, stodgy matches where nobody wants to commit players forward. They're just passing it sideways, waiting for the whistle. It's playing not to lose, rather than playing to win. And for the fans, it can be a bit of a hard watch, if I'm being honest.
It really is. The early knockout stages could turn into this massive defensive chess match where everyone is terrified of making the first move. You think about the tactical discipline required to play that way though, it's exhausting in its own right. Defending for 120 minutes requires intense concentration. One mental lapse, one defender who fails to track a run because his brain is foggy from travel, and the whole plan crumbles. So the pressure to be absolutely flawless defensively is going to be suffocating. So who actually survives this? If we look at the teams that are built for this kind of marathon, it's not necessarily the ones with the flashiest starting 11s. It's the ones with the deep, balanced rosters. Look at a country like England or France. They can leave world-class players on the bench. Players who would be the undisputed stars for 90% of the other countries in the tournament. That allows them to rotate, to keep players fresh, to adapt to different styles without a massive drop in quality.
Aye, those squads are like those big double-decker buses they have back in London. Sturdy, reliable, plenty of room inside, and they can take a few bumps without falling apart. But then you look at a team like, say, Egypt with Mo Salah, or even Argentina if Messi is carrying a knock. If those key men aren't at 100%, the whole system starts to wobble. It's a massive contrast between the top-heavy squads and the ones where you can swap out 3 midfielders and still look like world beaters. The managers who have tournament experience, the ones who know how to pace a squad, who don't panic after a bad half, they are going to be worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely. It's about pacing. You can't treat the first game of the group stage like it's the final. You have to manage the minutes. If you're up 2-0 in the 60th minute, you have to have the discipline to sub off your key playmaker, slow the game down and conserve energy. A manager who tries to play high press and high intensity football for 8 straight games across 3 countries is going to end up with a squad full of torn hamstrings by the quarter-finals. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but a marathon where you're occasionally forced to run through a swamp.
Exactly, Simon. You have to know when to shift down a gear. If you're always revving the engine at the red line, you're going to blow a gasket before you even see the finish line. I've seen it on the roads and I've seen it on the pitch. The clever managers, they'll be playing the long game, even if it means taking a bit of stick from the press for a boring 1-0 win along the way.
And then there's the mental side of this whole circus. The sheer scale of a 48-team tournament across an entire continent. The noise is going to be deafening. The media, the travel, the fan zones, the pressure. Blocking all of that out and staying focused in camp for up to 6 weeks is a monumental task. And let's not forget the trap games. With 8 third-place teams qualifying, you could easily end up playing a team in the round of 32 that squeaked through with 3 points and has absolutely nothing to lose. They're playing with house money, and that makes them incredibly dangerous.
Oh, those are the ones that'll get you. The scallywags who shouldn't even be there, but they've They've snuck through the back door while the security guard was having a cup of tea. They have no pressure, no expectations. They can just park the bus, hope for a bit of luck, and if they take you to penalties, they're heroes anyway. It's a psychological minefield. You have to respect every opponent, but at the same time, you can't let the fear of an upset paralyze you. It's going to take a very specific kind of mental resilience.
So, looking at the big picture, does this expansion actually make the eventual champion the greatest of all time because they survived the ultimate gauntlet? Or does the sheer element of luck, avoiding injuries, getting a favourable draw on the extra rounds, surviving the travel lottery, mean the winner might just be the luckiest team on the planet?
Well, Simon, if you ask me, it's probably a bit of both. You'll need to be bloody good, of course, but you're going to need the luck of the Irish and then some. The team that lifts that trophy, they won't just be champions, they'll be survivors. They'll have navigated the detours, survived the turbulence, and kept their engine running when everyone else has broken down on the hard shoulder. It's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure. Sure, why not?
Well, I think that is the perfect place to leave it. 8 games to glory, or 8 games to absolute heartbreak. We'll find out soon enough. Good chatting with you, Billy.
Always a pleasure, Simon. Watch the roads out there.